Nobody does it, Bennett. Yes, I've gone and said it. Movies and games, some things that are lame. Nobody does it, Bennett. A video game, movie pitch. We'll make a film with a game and such. Video game, movie pitch. Let's start a show. No, we're not on Twitch. A video game, movie pitch.
Hello, and welcome to Nobody Does It Bennett, a video game movie pitch. I am your host, the Greg Bennett Experience, and tonight for this one, I have Matt. Matt, the man who created my intros, outros, and segment cuts. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to get in some Alex Kidd in Miracle World. I always still say it.
Alex Kidd.
Alex Kidd. It's not Alex the Kid, but anyone you ask about, we're doing Alex Kidd in Miracle World, they've really gone, Alex the Kid. But it's not Alex the Kid.
You would think that as a kid, though, I feel. You kind of look at it, it's a kid in Miracle World. His name's Alex, and as a kid, you're just like, it's Alex the Kid.
I never say how old he is. So I reckon he's got to be at least teenage years.
Mm.
I don't know. Because you always assumed he was a kid because he's Alex the Kid, but
Could just be a full-grown adult.
could be.
And he's like, I want to take back my kingdom.
Well, he does have the monkey features too, so maybe that's why he looks a bit shorter. Maybe he's just not as tall.
He could be, actually.
Because they do have his big ears and monkey-like features as described, as we'll say later on.
Because I always thought they were elves.
He's the only one, though, that seems to be different.
Yeah, Igor kind of looks like an elf. It's just more the ears. That's the only thing that I'm looking at is the ears that shape up.
Well, they do live on a separate planet, so maybe they are. What we'll do in a video game movie pitch is cast our characters. We have 8 to cast in this one, so it'll be a bit of time going through that. But hey, that's the fun of a video game movie pitch is casting our characters. After that, we'll give our outlines for our movie or TV show. We can include other actors in our pitch if they were not cast in our cast lineup. So if you have any characters in mind that we don't cast in our cast along, just add them into your pitch. I don't mind because of our interest. I've done the same thing for mine. If you'd like to write into the show, who knows? We might read it on air. You can by going to Nobody Does It Bennett on Facebook. That's Nobody Does It Bennett's Facebook page. Or you can hit us up on the Twitter at NobodyDI_Bennett. That's Twitter for NobodyDI_Bennett. You can also email us at NobodyDoesItBennett@outlook.com. That's nobody, NOBODY, does, DOES, IT, Bennett, which is BENNETT, at outlook.com. Right, Matt, before we go into casting this epic that's going to be over a TV show or movie of Alex the Kid in Miracle World, what are your thoughts and memories about the game?
My mum tried to convince me that I'd played it on Nintendo 64, but I knew that wasn't true. I said, no, Mum, that was Banjo-Kazooie and Star Wars and not Alex Kidd. That was Sega. I'm sorry, but...
It was also about... 64 was about 10 years after it originally came out.
Well, Alex Kidd was the original game. I didn't play it much, and I didn't play it often, but it was the game that made me fall in love with Abe's Odyssey, Oddworld. All those side-scroller games. Pandemonium on PS1, if you remember that.
No, not so much.
Oh, weird game. Another one of those games that you will never finish.
Ooh. Yeah, no, for me, Alex Kidd in Miracle World, I remember playing it when I was about 4 or 5, Christmas one year. My brother Ross got given the console, the Sega Master System 2, which came built in with Alex Kidd in Miracle World, which is a huge thing. Like, I don't think until digital games came along they had ever had other built-in games.
Yeah, built-in.
In consoles, it was a big marketing ploy because if you don't have a game for the console, it's kind of useless. So it was genius for Alex Kidd to be built in, but not just a game, but one of the best games on the Master System was built in. Alex Kidd, I remember playing that, say 5 or 6. Yes, Sonic and stuff came along, but Alex Kidd was actually the original mascot. So he's the first poster child of the Sega. A lot of people go, Sonic is Sega, and they're right. He is. But whenever I think of Sega mascot, I actually think of Alex Kidd first because he was the first.
Yeah, the thing that kind of separated that from Sonic for me was I didn't get motion sickness playing Alex Kidd.
Because it's so much faster.
Yeah, and when he used to do the rings in Sonic, because it would follow the character and the whole screen would be going around in this giant roll, I'd just feel sick. Couldn't play it.
I think they deliberately did that to push the speed of because it was Genesis really when that came out.
Yeah, it was.
And pushing the speed of the Sega Genesis.
Look how fast our game can play.
Because it was faster than the Super Nintendo. But Alex Kidd, I say, didn't get the recognition he deserved. He was quite similar to Mario, I guess. He was a kid, big punching, looked kind of similar to anyone who looked at Mario and looked at Alex Kidd. I guess they were quite similar, hence they changed to Sonic. But today we're going to give Alex Kidd his due, his welcome return. Even though there is a new game coming out.
Yeah, literally around the corner, which is going to be great.
But we're going to give him his due, not this new game. This new game that does look quite fascinating and looks pretty good graphically.
Yeah, I'm glad they haven't changed much in it, to be fair.
But yeah, every level you see in the new one, you can kind of go, I remember that, but in 6-bit, or was it, how many bit graphics?
Be 8-bit?
8-bit. It was 8-bit first time. It was 16 for Genesis, yeah, so 8-bit graphics.
Wow, they look amazing now on a giant 85-inch 4K TV.
All those 8 bits in the corner. Right, so Alex Kidd in Miracle World originally began development in 1984 as a licensed tie-in game based on the Dragon Ball Magnus series.
Huh.
However, during development, the Dragon Ball license expired and Sega CEO Hayao Nakayama ordered the developers to start the game over from scratch.
Huh. I did not know that.
Yeah, originally Dragon Ball. Hence, I guess, why he has like the Kung Fu outfit.
Yeah, it almost would be, wouldn't it? That would kind of make sense.
The game was originally only available in cartridges, but was later built into many editions of both the Master System and the Master System 2, enabling play without the use of a game cartridge. From 1990 onwards, a slightly different version was integrated into the US, Australian, and European versions of the Master System 2, and also had some Australian and European versions of the original Master System. There were two differences. Firstly, when changing targets in the game map, Alex is shown eating onigiri in the original version, and a hamburger in the integrated version. So I remember the hamburger.
Yeah. I remember the hamburger. I don't remember sushi at all.
So we must have got the updated version. The original version used button 2 to hit and button 1 to jump. These controls were inverted in the integrated version. So again, our ones, I think 1 was punch and 2 was jump.
Yeah, that just made more sense.
Yeah.
It kind of seemed reversed, like you were doing inverted aiming as nowadays.
Well, in Japan, they've always had things different to the Western markets. Like until recently, I think PlayStation 5 is the first time X is actually the action button.
Oh, wow.
In Japan, it used to be circle. That's why you see the Wii. The Wii is actually the button that's usually circle.
It is too, isn't it? Oh, that's actually quite cool.
Yeah. So that's why. The game was released alongside Super Hang-On. Oh, who remembers that? Not me. I don't.
No. Super Hang-On. I don't remember that. Yeah.
The Revenge of Shinobi, which of course Shinobi is a classic Sega character ninja. As part of Sega Vintage Collection, Alex Kidd & Co., which was released for Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network in May 2012.
What?
This version allows play of any region's version of the game, the European version retaining a 50 Hz frame rate. And the Master System 2 variation, the original version, is included on the at-game Sega Genesis Flashback HD compilation, a dedicated console with games from the Sega Genesis, Master System, and Game Gear. So there you go.
Oh, that's awesome.
A remake of the game titled Alex Kidd & Miracle World DX was announced on June 10th, 2020. The game is being developed by Merge Games and Jenkin Team for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, Nintendo Switch, and PC. I like how it's called Jenkin Team because
I was about to say
that's the name of the bad guy.
That's funny. Jenkin Team. So they're just the bad guys. It's like, oh, okay.
The remake will feature new levels, alternate boss fights, and options for modern or retro style graphics. So doing the Halo effect. If you know what the Halo effect is, when Halo Anniversary Collection came out, they had the new graphics and a new engine, but they also gave you the opportunity to switch back and forth between the original and the new one.
Literally just a button.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. looking at all the monuments, like all the old monuments, walking up to it and going, it looks like, and then just changing it straight away and going, oh crap, they've done quite a bit on this.
What I love about the old Halo game is when you look at the grass, it's just like photographed and then stuck on there.
Just squares. This photograph squares, all different shades, maybe a bush.
Yeah, so Alex Kidd is going to be doing the same thing. It's going to have new graphics, but you can also switch back to the original, so it pleases everyone, which is hard to do in the game business.
That is actually.
Right, Matt. Shall we go into casting our Alex Kidd movie or TV show?
Yes, we shall.
All right. Here's our casting for Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
Nobody does it, Bennett.
What I'll say first, Matt, we'll say about what we're going to do, if it's going to be a movie or a TV show. First off, so people get an understanding of where we're going to go with it. So I've picked a movie, and it's going to be an animated movie.
Cool.
What have you picked, sir?
A show, and it's an animated show.
Oh, a TV show?
Yeah.
How many episodes?
6. Yeah, so enough to have a conclusion, but just enough to be like, oh, where's this going now? Like Game of Thrones.
So ours are going to be quite similar, but yours will be longer. Interesting. Right, so the first character we're going to cast in Alex Kidd in Miracle World is going to shock people. They're going to be like, wow, I never saw this. We're going to cast Alex Kidd in his role. So I'll let you go first for your first option. So who have you got for your first option? An actor is Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
Do you know the actor Ramon Rodriguez?
No.
He's from the show on Netflix called Iron Fist.
I know of that.
Yeah, he's a martial artist. So basically what happens is he is in a plane crash with his parents, or a boat. I can't quite 100% remember, but he's in a crash of some description with his parents. Yeah. And they get lost for years and years and years and years and years. And he ends up finding this monk on the top of the mountain, and he trains with the guy for so and so long and so long. When he goes back to the real world, he gets found.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. Obviously, we're not going to go by looks on this because it's animated, but yeah.
Because when they crashed on the island, or whatever happened in the show, Iron Fist, he trains himself like a mad person and becomes the ultimate warrior, basically. Ultimate has his own chi and can channel energy through all his different monkey fists and all these punches, all this random type stuff. That just reminds me of the monkey aspect. So I was just like, that'd be a good aspect as Alex Kidd. He could be Ramon Rodriguez in Miracle World.
So you reckon he might be CGI'd then? He might be motion captured.
Motion capture and then just shrink it down.
Yeah, going from more animated look. Well, motion capture is used a lot more in movies these days, so interesting first choice. My first choice as an actor in Alex Kidd in Miracle World, for Alex Kidd, I have selected Michael Cera.
Ooh.
Scott Pilgrim himself. Also George Michael from Arrested Development.
Yeah, George Michael.
He also plays Robin in the Lego Batman movie.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm an orphan. And Batman looks at him and goes, yeah, I can see why. So, what he'd bring to Alex Kidd is like the real innocence. If he's a younger person, I guess we're saying he's either he's a kid or he's young teen. And I think Michael Cera could bring that innocence.
Like that Scott Pilgrim look too, the old just pull the sword. Whoosh.
He's trained in shell call for 7 years. So unless he was like 1 or 2 when he was picked up, he's probably in his teenage years.
Yeah, that's true.
And Michael Cera, he can bring that kind of nerdy 14-year-old
kick your butt,
but if he also can shell core as well. And I can just imagine him punching a rock and going, whoa, yeah, whoa. It really works.
Hey, leave those guys alone. Yeah. And they touch him and he just breaks his wrist and he's like, oh.
Yeah, so here's my first pick. Have you got a second pick, sir?
My second pick is Bradley Cooper.
Oh, yeah. We had him in the first episode too. He's making a comeback. He's a really good voice artist for, obviously, Rocket Raccoon.
So good. That's basically what I fell in love with him with. And he's actually quite a good singer.
Really?
Yeah, and he's in that Lady Gaga movie. Him and Lady Gaga sing together, and he's actually singing in that, and he bloody pulls that off.
Is it A Star Is Born?
Yes. Yeah. Good movie.
He directed that, I believe, as well.
Oh, I had no idea. That wouldn't actually surprise me, actually.
I think he was nominated for an Oscar for Best Director. No, that's a good choice. Bradley Cooper, no, you can never go wrong with him. Awesome. My second option for an actor is Alex Kidd. Zac Efron from High School Musical, obviously, but he was in Bad Neighbors or Neighbors, Baywatch. Yeah, I just think he'd be hilarious. I think his voice would be very funny.
would be actually, he'd kind of nail that too. He's also got that kind of innocence to him as well, that kind of plays off his... Yeah, that's actually quite a good... I like that choice.
Yeah, he can also be kick-ass if he wants to, obviously, because he can fight, like in Baywatch. I think he's hilarious in that. Even though it didn't get very good ratings, Baywatch the movie, I still enjoyed it.
No, I haven't actually seen it.
Don't listen to the critics, just watch it. And if you like it, you don't. Make your own mind up, but I enjoyed it. What is your third choice, sir?
The man himself, Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves.
But with the complete, like innocence from Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
But with also the crazy fighting skills of John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those put together.
So you would CGI him then, so therefore you can do all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, sorry, not CGI, motion capture.
Motion capture him, yeah. He could do all his own stunts, all his own judo, yeah, it'd be perfect.
I would pay to see.
And he would destroy the bad guys. You'd be like, don't even need to watch these 6 episodes. We already know what's going to happen. They took his dog.
Interesting. Yeah. That would be worth seeing. Like, even if we could just see it, just to see how it go. I think it's it's a good wild card. My third choice is someone that you probably won't know. I'm not sure if you've seen the Netflix movie Love and Monsters.
I'm not actually sure.
It's one that came out recently. The guy who plays the main character in that, he's also from the TV show Teen Wolf that came out recently. Dylan O'Brien right there. Sorry, I put Dylan and Monsters when I searched him, but it's actually Dylan and Monsters.
Dylan and Monsters.
He played a character that could easily have just been annoying and played him really well in Love and Monsters. I think he could bring that quirky kind of, I'm kind of like in over my head kind of feel to it really, really well.
I have to give it a watch.
Well, he's an interesting pick, and I think he would be one that could be more of a breakout role for him, because Love and Monsters is this Netflix film. It's not a huge budgeted film, but this could be something that could kind of help him move to the next step.
Yeah, 100%.
From television.
Yeah.
So if you got one that you would want to pick out of your ones and one of the ones that I'll pick.
Yeah, I already know who I'd pick.
Who are you going to pick for your option?
Keanu Reeves.
You're going for Keanu Reeves? I'm going to go for Michael Cera. The reason I go for Michael Cera, I think he could play a kid better. I don't think Keanu Reeves could play either kid or teenage.
That's what I'm trying. That's why I kind of thought of the Bill and Ted aspect.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Because in Bill and Ted, the new one, he doesn't capture it as well as he was in the kid. When he's a younger kid, he played it so well. As older, it came across as stiff and odd.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? Yeah, no, actually, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Instead of just having a wild card thrown in there, yeah.
And that's why I wouldn't go for him, because I don't think he could play the right age kind of bracket. Michael Cera could do that, even though he's like 30.
He still could, though. Yeah, that's the whole thing. He was Scott Pilgrim. He was meant to be basically, 16? 18? He was just out of college, basically, dating a high school girl. But he was still just...
Him and Tom Holland can play that nerd till they're like 50 if they wanted to.
Yeah, Tom Holland's good at that too, isn't he? Mr. Spark?
Think Michael Cera then?
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, actually. Because you could try Keanu Reeves, but he'd end up just walking through and snapping everyone's necks, and he'd be like, I don't want to be a kid anymore.
I think it would be played too much. Even though this is kind of a fun comedy, kind of action family thing, I think it would be just seen as absurd. And people would laugh at it more than look at it any other way.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, it kind of would be like that. Unless it was just complete action from non-stop the whole way through for the 6 episodes, and then at the end of it's him just heavy breathing in his own blood, and he's got the princess, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's the end of the scene. House is on fire, castles are on fire. He's literally just cut down kingdoms.
Don't get me wrong, I would love to see Keanu Reeves in this, but I would watch it as, it's Keanu Reeves, not Alex Kidd.
Like, yeah, he might have been Johnny Silverhand in Cyberpunk, but you were just Keanu Reeves running around with a revolver that blew people up.
He was actually Keanu Reeves in there, so you could see him. Yeah. Right, so for Saint Nurari, which is Alex's foster dad / mentor, so he's his master from the Shell Corps. My first option for this one, Matt, is Sir Ian McKellen. I love him as Gandalf, obviously, in Lord of the Rings, and he brings that wisdom.
I hadn't actually... He hadn't even crossed my mind at all.
I thought it'd be like, a really good way just to bring the wisdom feel of a master.
Yeah, next time throw yourself down.
He'd be like, Alex Kidd, you must learn before you can do.
You must learn.
A wizard is never early nor is he late. He arrives precisely when he means to. But here's my first choice.
That's a bloody good choice, actually.
Who's your first choice there?
Jackie Chan.
Yes. Yep.
Weirdly.
No, that's perfect because he could play that because he's done it.
Yeah, and he's very philosophical as well in the way that he presents himself. And if he's a mentor and a master, then I feel like Jackie Chan could easily play that role.
Yeah, he's played it in Karate Kid as well.
Because it was a toss-up between him and Liam Neeson, and I went for Jackie Chan on the first one.
Interesting, because I got Liam Neeson for one of my other characters.
Ooh.
So there you go.
Here we go.
No, it's a good choice, Jackie Chan, because like if you had him cast too as that kind of master of someone who could train someone to do all the stuff like smash rocks, you believe it because you believe that Jackie Chan's probably smashed rocks in his time.
Yeah, you would too, yeah. And it's just the way he holds himself, even as a martial artist and an actor, that you just thought, oh, he knows what he's doing.
My second option is more like a very much different option. It'd be more played as a comical kind of like, you're a dumbass kind of Alex Kidd for not learning this stuff earlier. Don Cheadle.
Ooh.
He'd be more smart-assy, I think, as well. He'd bring a much different feel to the role than in Ian McKellen or Jackie Chan would.
Yeah, it would be more like a, how do you explain it? Not like a Karate Kid, but like a...
I think because he obviously in Iron Man, he's more military bit sound. I think he'd be more giving him orders and insulting him more than actually teaching.
Yeah, he would be, wouldn't he?
But he would be a different choice.
He'd be crass about it, very old school.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Do it again.
I didn't bring you up here just so you do it wrong.
I'm not teaching you it again. Get it right. So we haven't done this in months. I don't care. Get it right.
Yep. So he's my second choice, so Don Cheadle.
Mine's gone for the... Yeah, mine's weird. I've never really seen him in a role like this ever. But it would be good to see him in this scene. Leonardo Dicaprio. He's never really played the mentor as one. He's always played the dictator or the fall in love with him kind of, or you know, he's played a main, but he's never played that lead. Like even in Inception, he was the lead, but he wasn't like the guy who knew everything what was going on, because you could still kind of tell like, oh, there's something a bit off with him, so we're going to follow him. But yes, yeah, but it would be good to see him in this role.
That would be interesting because I don't think he's ever done animated ever.
Never, yeah.
This would be really interesting to actually see him in that role. My third option there, Matt, I've gone for James Bond himself, Daniel Craig.
Oh, cool.
It's like he would be like Don Cheadle's one, like no messing around, but he wouldn't be as funny. He would just be straight, almost like a Clint Eastwood if Clint Eastwood was to train you.
Yeah, I can almost picture him standing there in a white skin-tight t-shirt and white, like, Egyptian cotton pants, standing there with his arms folded, just looking annoyed while Alex is training.
Yep.
And then he's like, did I do good? You know, it's been like 3 months. And he goes,
You're not as bad as you were.
Yeah, you're not as bad as you were.
Yay. But not as good as you should be.
Yeah, let's go, and then just take off on the car at like 150 miles an hour.
He'd be a no-nonsense one, yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
All right, who's your third choice, sir?
Johnny Depp.
Ah.
Yeah, weirdly enough. Based on Lone Ranger. Kind of like that, but like philosophical again, like Jackie Chan, but like just, you know, go with the way it is.
Johnny Depp, I could see it if he wasn't in court allegations at the moment.
Yeah.
No, he'd be an interesting choice in any situation he wasn't in a court battle. I think he's good for anything, but yeah. Right, so out of my choices, sir, I think it's going to be a choice from my side. I'd pick Sir Ian McKellen.
That's what I was thinking too.
You're thinking as well?
Yeah, I'd have to 100% wholeheartedly agree with that.
Because I think the other one behind that was going to be Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
But Sir Ian McKellen then?
Yeah, I'd agree with that too. Yeah, Ian McKellen over anything. And if he died somehow and then had to leave and become the Pink Wizard, then he can leave. He only wanted the XP. That's the only reason why he said, fly, you fools. And then they all left. He got 50,000 XP for killing the Balrog, and then comes back level 50 in his level 50 gear. And he's like, ha, ha, ha. And they're all just like, oh, we're still hobbits.
Right, the next character we've got to cast is someone who doesn't actually, not very heavily in my pitch, but he's one of the cast anyway, is King Thunder. Yeah. He's Alex's dad, but Alex doesn't know it until halfway through the film. Halfway through the game.
Yeah, just like a background.
But yeah, King Thunder, Alex's dad, who, I will go with the first one this time. My first option is Liam Neeson. I told you he'd show up.
Yeah, thought it would be too, because I'm only thinking of that when you said, oh, I've got another character that's Liam Neeson. I was thinking Zeus. Remember when he played Zeus? He was a dick.
Release the Kraken.
Yeah, he was a dick in that movie. To be fair, Hades was worse. The actor who played Hades was, he played a good King Thunder.
Who was your first choice, sir?
Robert De Niro. Weirdly, I don't think he'd want to act in this role.
That could be interesting because he's acted in one animated film before this, and that's Shark Tale.
Was it?
He was the dad shark, the one that run the shark family.
Damn it, no, I can't. I'm going to have to watch that.
Even the shark had his mole that he has.
Oh, he did too at the desk. Yeah, it did too, with the wee shrimp.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
It'd be interesting because then he would play a very old school kind of king.
Yeah.
Don't take crap from no one. So he's been chained up. He'd be like, once you get out of these chains, you know I'm going to get you.
Throw them out the sky door.
Yeah, no, interesting first choice. My second option would be Rowan Atkinson.
Oh.
Mr. Bean, from Mr. Bean obviously, and from Blackadder.
Blackadder, of course.
I don't think he's done too much animated though. I think he'd bring that kind of royalty stompiness.
There was a cartoon series of Mr. Bean.
There was, and he was in that too.
Was that him?
That was him.
Oh, cool. I actually like that. It just reminded me of the Four Square Man. So to me, it was just kind of like, the Four Square Man's Mr. Bean now.
He's okay with that though. He's always happy, Mr. Four Square Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's my second pick, Rowan Atkinson, Mr. Bean.
That's a bloody good pick. I like that. With Teddy. Teddy.
Who's your second choice, sir?
Sam Elliott.
Oh, yes. He's from Tombstone.
My name's Sam Elliott.
He was in that Netflix show with Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, he was too.
Yeah.
Not The Ranch, no.
He was in that The Good Dinosaur.
Yep.
But the animated in that.
Yeah,
It was good.
and he was in... Damn it, I'm trying to think of it.
Ghost Rider.
That's it. There you go. That's it. All my brain could think of was the bees. And I'm like, we're not trying to think of Nicolas Cage.
Wrong one. I watched Willy's Wonderland for the first time the other day. Worth it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, no, that's an interesting choice. I like it. I like Sam Elliott's voice. He brings a lot of character to that voice.
I feel like himself is King Thunder. Even with he's got a big bellowing...
No, definitely. My third choice is a bit of a left field one, but my third choice is Graeme Norton.
Oh, wow.
Graeme Norton is the king. Just so he'd be over the top.
He would be.
That'd
That'd
crazy.
Be great. God, he'd play that well, though. Well, he'd play it himself. It would be quite funny. He'd have a bottle of wine.
So my third choice would be Graeme Norton from the Graeme Norton Show. Also, I loved him in Father Ted. Whenever he showed up as guest appearances in Father Ted. Yeah, he plays one of the priests that they want to keep not seeing because he's really irritating. They end up going on holiday and they end up going to this caravan and think they're on their own, Dougal and Ted. Yeah. Turns out that father is also time-shared the same caravan. So they're all in there together.
Yeah, I'm not leaving.
So Graeme Norton's my third choice. Who was your third choice? So have you got one?
Get down.
Arnie.
Yeah, but it would be weird.
I think it'd be cool though.
Yeah, it would be cool.
He's like the king in Around the World in 80 Days.
Yeah.
He plays the king in that.
It just reminds me of like the, have you seen Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
Timmy Turner. It's like he's the commander-in-chief and I'm like, I could see him like that.
Oh, that's actually really good. I actually would like Arnie in that. It'd be interesting.
You couldn't do anything to his hair though, and you couldn't give him a beard. Yeah. That would just look weird.
I actually think Arnie would be the choice I'd go with. Just because he'd be so different.
Oh, it would be so
And
different.
having him as a king that's kidnapped and not the hero. Oh, not the hero? Yeah. It just like being enough just to be there and be a different character. All right, I'm ready to lock in actually Arnie for that one.
Awesome. Hey, kid. I'm your father. It's Turbo Man.
Next one we got to cast is Queen Patricia, otherwise known as Alec's mum as well. Who was your first option, sir?
Emma Stone.
Yes.
Just played Cruella.
Yeah, she's amazing in everything she does.
So good. I actually fell in love with her acting in the movie Easy A.
Yeah.
She was absolutely great in that movie.
That was one of her first leading roles.
Yeah, it was.
She was in Superbad before that, and that's where I first saw her.
Oh my God, she was too.
And I was like, wow, she's great.
Jonah!
Ends up with Jonah, yeah. Right. And Michael Cera, oddly enough, is in that movie too.
There we go. You could have Michael Cera, Emma Stone.
Yeah, no, that's a really good choice because she's very good.
Yeah. I want to watch Cruella, actually.
Yeah, perfect. My first option, again, there's another connection to Michael Cera because they're in the Scott Pilgrim together. Actually, two of my choices for the Queen here are actually in Scott Pilgrim. Anna Kendrick.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's actually quite funny, too.
She is. And she'd be very bubbly as a queen. Not sure. She could probably bring the older look to her because she's a bit younger. That's the thing with my one. Emma Stone, I think she could play the older person. You wouldn't really notice. But Anna Kendrick, I'm not sure if she could pull off not being cutesy.
Yeah, she'd almost have to.
She'd almost be a sister than she would be a mother. And this is where she tries to be a mother. But yeah, that's my first choice. Have you got a second choice, sir?
Meryl Streep.
Yes. Yep. That she is royalty. She's Hollywood royalty.
Yeah, and she would nail that role. She's got the cuteness of Anna Kendrick as well, but she's also got the fierceness of I've been to jail longer than Snoop Dogg.
She's got the been there, done that attitude. She'll be showing up, I don't even care anymore. I've done everything I need to do. Just do what you need to do.
Yeah, 100%. She'd tell Arnold exactly what to do, and he'd be like, yeah.
The first two choices for this for you are out of the bag. Emma Stone and Meryl Streep. My second option is someone who hasn't been seen much lately, but I think she could do really well. And she'd nail it, obviously. Sandra Bullock.
Oh.
Last time I think she was in that Blind movie where people can't see.
Yeah, it was too, with the alien thing.
Birdcage or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That was... I couldn't get through that movie.
But Sandra Bullock from in the 90s, she was everywhere. Speed.
Miss Congeniality.
The Net, where she was like
The Net,
a hacker.
Yep, that's right. She falls in love with Ryan Reynolds in a movie.
Yes, that's in The
She's
Proposal.
His boss, that's it. Yeah, that's a good movie. They bounce off each other.
She's done some Speed 2 Cruise Control as well. Who can forget that one with William Dafoe as the bad guy?
Right. Speaking of Willem Dafoe.
Oh, okay. Could be featuring later. Yes, Sandra Bullock is my second choice. Have you got a third choice, sir?
Zoe Saldana, who plays Gamora.
Wow. I have her as one of my other characters as well.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I thought she would nail the role. I've watched her mature up through acting roles in the last couple of years, and I'd be like, she'd nail that.
She'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, again, can she play older?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, she wouldn't be able to play wise as. She's the wiser one of her and her sister in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. But I don't think she's quite at that level. She's still quite boyish and...
She's a good choice. Like, my third choice is Audrey Plaza. She just wouldn't care.
Ooh, that's good. Yeah.
I think she'd be great. But ever since you've said it, I've only had one person in mind. Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
It's got to be Meryl Streep. Like, other choices are good, but that's a fantastic choice.
Yeah, she'd nail it.
Meryl Streep is now being confirmed as
Loves
Queen
the
Patricia.
Meryl Streep.
Yeah. Watch out for Zoe Saldana later on. Because, yeah, she's a fantastic actress who hasn't been in much apart from Guardians the last few years. She was in Star Trek's, but once Star Trek's ended, she's in Guardians and she's in the obviously the Avengers movies, but I haven't seen her in anything else.
Yeah.
She's probably taking a well-earned break.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, what else has she been in? Nothing really, actually.
I think I've seen. I enjoyed her in The Losers as well, which is funny because we're coming up to Poplin the Pursuer, otherwise known as Paperhead. The first henchman you come across in the game. My first choice is someone else who acted with Zoe Saldana in The Losers, and I think he's great in everything he does. Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Oh, yeah, that's bang on. That would be good.
Just as a henchman that you first show up, and he would just give you so much crap.
You'd be like, okay, yeah, literally. That'd be bang on.
So Jeffrey Dean Morgan, if you don't know where he's from, he's been in Supernatural. He was Negan in The Walking Dead. Remember when The Walking Dead was good? Well, Negan was... I think he's still in it, actually. No, if you like Walking Dead, that's fine. I went out of it after about season 8, season 9. But, yeah, he's Negan in that. He's in The Losers, like I say. He was the comedian in Zack Snyder's Watchmen.
Oh, that guy.
He plays Bruce Wayne in Zack Snyder's Batman vs. Superman when they have the start of it. He actually put him in there because the plan was, I'm not sure if it still is, they can get Snyder's universe redone and they do the Flashpoint in Snyder's universe. He would play Thomas Wayne, aka Flashpoint Batman.
That would be cool.
Him as Flashpoint Batman would work.
Nail that.
He would be perfect for that. If you don't know who Flashpoint Batman is, when Flash is a comic story, when Flash goes back in time to save his mother from dying, she gets murdered when he's a kid. He goes back through the Speed Force and saves her from dying, which creates a completely alternate universe where Bruce Wayne died in the alley. He got shot and so did the mother, and Thomas Wayne survived.
Whoa.
And he's now Batman, but he's got guns. He hasn't got the training. He's still pretty good, but he is not like his focus as Batman.
He's just avenging people.
He's a vengeance monster. He's almost a Punisher.
Yeah, see, that's a bit. Ooh.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be great as Thomas
Oh,
Wayne.
he'd nailed that role. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got, because his comedian role, he played that so well, it actually made me hate him.
Yeah.
I didn't like some bits in that. I was just like, oh, I don't like you, comedian.
He's a good dick.
But he nailed that. He's such a. Oh, loved it.
Seamus Negan as well on Walking Dead. You see how much of a dick he is. It's great. He's my first choice. Sorry, I harped on a bit there, but who's your first choice, sir?
Wallace Shawn.
Oh, I don't know if I saw him.
You'll know as soon as you
Let's
see
bring
him.
him up.
Ah.
Oh, he played Rex, didn't he, in Toy Story? He's also he's in The Princess Bride.
Is he?
Yeah, he plays the guy that keeps using the words wrong.
But I've always liked him.
Yeah.
I wonder how he could play it. He'd be almost just like creepy.
He would be.
He'd kind of just stand in the background behind one of the other guys, like,
I hope you know, though, that if you do cast him in this movie, you probably ruined Rex for children for all ages.
Yeah, you would too, because you'd hear the voice.
I'm going to destroy you!
Yeah, I'm Paperhead.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a unique choice.
Yeah, weird. Yeah,
But as soon as I saw him, it's Rex from Toy Story.
yeah, old Rex.
Oh, it's fantastic. My second choice is someone who needs a break, and I think he gets judged harshly for previous roles that I don't think it was his fault. Andrew Garfield,
Ooh,
just as a bad guy. Keep his British accent, just be like evil British guy.
I would like to see him in that role. Actually,
I think it'd be different.
it would be real different. That would actually be quite cool, though. He'd be real badass. He could actually play that.
Yeah, I think it'd be an interesting choice.
We've watched him in his movies kind of mature through the crap he's been through.
Yeah, he was also in that movie where he played the doctor in the military who like didn't carry a gun during battle. Oh, I shouldn't put Garfield war film because otherwise the cat will come up.
It'll come up with it'll come up with the cat with I hate Mondays.
Yeah. With a gun, like a rainbow gun.
And then memes of it.
Hacksaw Ridge. I see that. Yeah, he plays a medic. He was nominated for an Oscar for it. He plays a medic that refuses to take a gun, yet he goes on to all these battles.
That's cool.
Very good role for him. Again, Social Network, he was in that as well.
Was too, yes. That's what I watched him in that I really enjoyed. He was quite a bit of a dick in that too.
He was.
He was bloody good at playing it though, which is why I didn't like him, which is why I know he's a good actor if you start to dislike the character they're playing.
But he's not as big as dick as the main guy who plays Mark Zuckerberg. He gets screwed over by him at the end, but when he realizes how it feels, he kind of like goes, oh crap, this is what I've been.
Yeah, empathetic.
Yeah. Justin Timberlake is the guy that created Napster. That's right.
Justin. Yeah, Napster.
So he's my second choice, sir. Who is your next choice?
Have you seen No Country for Old Men?
I haven't yet. I should have, but I haven't yet.
Anton Chigurh.
Is he the... Oh, I think I know who he is, though. Is he the assassin guy in that?
Yes, he's almost like my other version of the comedian. He's just very good at playing dead in the face and but emotional at the same time.
Yeah, he's also in Skyfall.
Was he?
Yeah, Skyfall is the one where like he plays the guy who's after James Bond who knows all about his personal history. I can see him as a very delightful bad guy. My third choice is someone who he'd be funny in the role. He wouldn't really be menacing, but I'd be okay with that. I had to put him in somewhere. That's why I've got him in here. Randall Park, who plays Detective or Agent Jimmy Woo in MCU as Ant-Man.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, he's also in WandaVision. I just think he's great. I couldn't find anywhere else to put him,
Yeah, that would work.
so I put him as one of the henchmen.
Perfect. You may go here.
Sorry, no passing. Unless you want to play a game. Yeah, is that your... We've done both our choices now, haven't we?
No, I've got one more, I think.
You got one more choice? Sorry.
Javier Bardem.
Javier Bardem.
Yes.
No.
Have a look at him. You know him when you see him. He's almost like a mixture between the comedian, Anton Chigurh, and basically those two people mixed together as one.
Okay, interesting, yeah.
Very happy, very smiley, but he plays an assassin in No Country for Old Men. Psychopath. Absolute psychopath. He'd probably nail one of those henchman type of roles. Like, oh, can someone get rid of him? Oh, were we not to put his body in a vat of acid?
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know much about him, so I should know more. I should learn more about him.
And he was in Glee.
Oh, well, okay.
If you've seen Glee.
Not yet. So, out of your choices, have you got anyone you want to nominate?
What were your three choices?
My choices were Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Andrew Garfield, and Randall Park. I'm nominating Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
I'd almost like to see Andrew Garfield in that.
You want to go Andrew Garfield?
I almost can't see it, though.
Andrew Garfield would be tough. It'd be different from him.
Yeah.
Well, if you think Andrew Garfield would be an interesting pick, I can always change it to it.
No, do you want to like that?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Yeah.
Right, so Jeffrey Dean Morgan has been cast as Paperhead. Right, so next character is Chokina the Sly, otherwise known as Scissorhead. I'll go for my first option. First option is one that's, if you listen to JB's Real Cut with us, Matt, it was the very first time we actually did a podcast together. Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe. Guns akimbo.
Harry Potter himself.
Oh, that'd be quite good, wasn't it? He'd be playing the opposite side. He'd be playing the...
It's like Now You See Me where he plays like a bad guy in that too,
Yeah.
who apparently loves magic. Yeah, he'd be my first pick. I think he'd be an interesting choice, but...
Hilarious for my first choice too.
What was that? Who's your first choice?
Voldemort. Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. So Voldemort and,
And Harry Potter. There you go. Joining up as the bad guys. Both fighting for the role of Scissorhead.
Ralph Fiennes is so good.
Yeah.
Everything he does, he's just so...
He's
He
meticulous.
gets under your skin.
Yeah. He's like a better... I'm not saying this to be mean, but he's like the better version of who the actor who plays Magneto wishes he could be. Not in a mean way, but almost just like that's him at 100%.
Yeah, he wants him to get to that kind of unnerving
Yeah.
feel to him.
Because he's psycho. He's crazy.
Michael Fassbender, you're thinking up to him.
That's it. Yeah, he's a great actor.
Michael Fassbender's good. He just hasn't had the right... Well, he hasn't had the perfect role yet.
Assassin's Creed was very... That to me feels like he just kind of did a Nicolas Cage and just, I guess I just have to do these crappy movies because I need a bit of money or...
I don't think he was right for that role. He's like not at all what it's supposed to be. Like Assassin's Creed is actually going to be our next video game movie pitch that we do.
Cool.
Because of the fact that movie didn't follow at all what the game was.
You could do so much better than that movie.
Yeah.
Would you do it as Altair?
Yes. We're doing the very, very first one, so it'll be Altair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're going to be doing the next video game
And then,
movie
yeah,
pitch.
the one after that I'd like to do would probably be, Brotherhood. That was probably my second favourite after the first one with Ezio Auditore.
I love 2. 2 is my favourite Assassin's Creed of all time. Because I love the story of Ezio.
Oh, Ezio, no, sorry, 2. It will be 2 as well. Yeah. It's a me, Mario! And I was just like, oh, that was great. And he walks up to him too and he's like, it's your uncle. And then you get into a fight on a bridge.
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci's there. Oh, you found another one.
Yeah.
How exciting.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, so good. Making his flying machine. Oh, that was a great game.
It was.
They kind of dumbed down after the MX, to be fair. Not dumbed down, but they just expanded the size of the worlds and just kind of took away the interactions of like...
Story-wise,
that.
for me, it's where it peaked. I love the
Yeah, it
second
was.
story. Like how his family gets murdered and he's the one that has to fight in their honour for what happened.
Yeah.
But, sorry, we've gone way off track. It was Ralph Fiennes.
Ralph Fiennes, yep. And Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe.
My second option is actually, welcome back, Zoe Saldana.
Cool.
I thought she'd be interesting as a henchman.
She would be good in
Or a
that.
henchwoman
Yeah.
in this situation.
She would be too. Black leather with 2 katanas.
Out there to kill you. She could play that really well, and she could be delightfully evil. Yeah, she's my second choice.
Mine is Outrageous Fortune star and Homelander himself, Anthony Starr.
Wow, yeah.
I thought, oh yeah,
He's good.
he's just a good henchman.
He plays evil so well in The Boys.
He does. Oh God, yeah.
And of course, he's a Westie from Your Age is Fortune, like you say. He's done so well for himself.
He played himself and his twin brother in the show, which was great.
And now look at him. Big, like I bet you Americans don't even realize he's a Kiwi.
No, they wouldn't even realise at all. He nails that. Absolutely nails that. They'll be like, oh, who's this guy? Cool, Kiwi-born actor. And they'll be like,
Yeah, he's got a legit American accent. He hasn't got a Hercules American accent. Like, oh, Hercules,
Yeah, Hercules.
Yeah, no, that's I love that choice. It's really good. My third choice is someone who's good at playing a prick, and probably one of the greatest people at playing a prick I've ever seen. Iwan Rheon.
You have literally got the exact same as me.
Really, Ramsay. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, with the sausage. That's all I could picture. I was just like, oh God, I'll torture them. Give them to me.
Is he on your list? I guess if we've both got him, we have to go with him.
Yeah, that's my third option.
All right, if we've both got him, we got to go with him. So Iwan Rheon is actually now.
Let's crack up.
Happened last time too with Ross with Samara Weaving. Me and my brother both had her in Uncharted casting list for Helena.
Even when he started talking about him, like he's a big dick and a big this, and I was like, oh no, it's Ramsey, isn't it?
Yeah. I want Rion. Welcome to being Chiquina the Sly, or otherwise known as Scissorhead. Right, the next character is Gooseka the Slippery, otherwise known as Fisthead. My first choice, because he has a head like a fist, or, as you know for Paper, Scissors, Rock, a head of a rock. My first choice is Dwayne Johnson.
I've almost got that. I've got his lower budget cousin as the first one. Not his actual cousin, but...
Yeah, I've gone... It'd be funny, Dwayne Johnson playing Fisthead or Rockhead.
That'd be good. The big brute force just...
Yeah. He would be just dominating too.
Wouldn't even talk.
No. Well, he could talk, and this thing is about Dwayne Johnson is he'd talk when he needs to. And he'd be very funny.
He definitely knows how to cut up bodies and get rid of them.
He's my first choice.
My first choice is Jason Momoa.
Oh, yes, yep.
Yeah, I thought he'd also be a good brute that's just kind of there, just throwing.
We're thought very similar for this character. Just he'd be a no-nonsense third guy, because all the other first couple would maybe more smarty. Or smartassy, sorry, I just cut out the microphone. It's weird. Oh, it's because my old password manager showed up. So, hey, get out of there.
You need to manage your passwords.
Yeah, we've both gone with the first couple could be a bit more smartassy, but the third henchman would be more down to business. That's why I like Jason Momoa and Dwayne Johnson both do that. My second choice for actor is Jason Statham.
Ooh.
I think he'd bring a rich kind of, again, no nonsense.
He wouldn't. There would be absolutely no nonsense.
Yeah.
They'd be hammer to the face.
Yeah. So, Jason Statham, obviously from the Transporter series. He's actually been in the movie of The Rock as well, of the Fast and Furious series, and Hobbs and Shaw.
And Crank, if you've seen those.
Yeah.
Those movies are ridiculous.
The first one I really enjoyed. The second one was just bonkers.
Was the first one where what was the one where they're fighting in the middle of some like electricity field?
That's the second one because it looks like Godzilla.
Yeah, and they're just like pulling weather pylons up, throwing them at each other. I was sitting there going, what happened?
The first one, he has like this, he has to keep his heartbeat elevated because it's been poisoned. Yeah. Second one, after he fell from a plane, they have to he has to keep recharging himself. Electrical wise, he has to keep charging himself, and that's Crank too, yeah. But I don't think Statham's ever done voice work that I can think of.
Do you know that Jason Statham was in the Dunedin Olympic pool?
Commonwealth Games, 1990. Yeah.
He's even on video still, emplaced in glory in blue Speedos.
Pretty sure he had some hair then too.
Yeah, he did actually.
Yeah, a little bit.
Should have shaved it, would have made him more aerodynamic, but I suppose that was coming.
He was in the classic movie The One with Jet Li.
Was he?
Yeah, he did the agent that was chasing him.
Oh my god, didn't even pick up on that.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch that again.
So that's my second choice. Who's your second choice, sir?
Who's seen Breaking Bad?
I have seen Breaking Bad.
You know Jesse Plemons, who plays Todd, the biker's son?
Ooh, I haven't seen all of Breaking Bad. Jesse Plemons.
Yeah, so he plays one of the biker gang that's in there that make Jesse. They chain Jesse up downstairs and make him cook methamphetamine for them.
Oh yes, he's actually that guy is also in Friday Night Lights. I used to watch that series. He's in The Irishman that came on Netflix as well.
Oh yes, he is too, and he's in a very very creepy, almost Star Trek like episode of
Black Mirror.
Yes.
Do you know who he's engaged to?
No.
Kirsten Dunst.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah, he's either engaged or married now. He might even be married now.
Oh wow, he's a bloody good actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely love him to bits. I think he'd nail that properly.
So weird when I heard that he was like a real badass assassin in Breaking Bad, because I seen him in Friday Night Lights where he played this little dorky kid that was the kicker for the football team, but was just this dorky kid that hung up with the guy who had to be the quarterback. He's just like, now all of a sudden, he's gone from leaps and bounds from that. So, well done. No, it's a good pick for Jesse Plemons. Yeah. I like him. My third choice is someone who plays a bad guy very well again, but I think maybe he'd be more accustomed to being a leader than a sidekick, so this might actually hurt him. Jason Isaacs.
Oh, yeah.
Lucius Malfoy from Harry Potter.
That would be bloody good, actually. Yeah, I feel like he would try and take over, wouldn't he? And it'd just get him killed.
He would. I don't know if he'd be right for the role. As I put him in here, I was like, I haven't got him in my Jenkins, but I probably should have put him in my Jenkins.
Yeah.
But, Jason Isaacs was my third option.
Yeah, my third option's got me a bit up down as well, actually, on the whole leadership. Mads Mikkelsen.
Yes, he's so good. He's in Casino Royale when we talked about before.
Yeah, that's the one that I was thinking of actually. And he's in the Hannibal series. Whew.
Rogue One.
He would. Oh my god, he is too.
And he's in this movie that from his homeland of Denmark. They made this movie that Hollywood wants to redo it and reboot it. And they're like, oh, we're looking at these actors to play this person. It's like, why not just get Mads Mikkelsen back?
Just use Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah,
to play himself.
he speaks English. Have you not seen Doctor Strange?
Yeah, literally.
Hollywood.
Yep.
But I like Mads Mikkelsen. I think he'd be good. He's always so creepy as well. But then again, like you say, he'd be more likely to be the leader.
He would be.
Out of those options, sir,
I'd probably have to go for The Rock.
Dwayne Johnson or Jason Momoa would be interesting for playing Fisthead. But I'm just curious about Jesse Plemons now.
Yeah, he would be bloody. Yeah, he'd be different.
I'm picking Jesse Plemons.
Alrighty.
Let's cast him. Because, Rock and stuff's too easy. I think Jesse Plemons would bring a unique kind of blend to it. Right, so next we're going for Jenkin the Great himself, the main bad guy. My first option is someone who's really good and is almost in every animated thing that's ever been. Clancy Brown. He plays Lex Luthor in Superman the Animated Series.
That's cool, yeah.
He was a security guard or prison guard in Shawshank Redemption. Yeah. He was the main rival, the first movie of Hollander.
Oh, yes, he was too.
But yeah, he's got such a grandeur to his voice.
Yeah, that would be perfect actually. And you could cast him in anything really with just his voice.
Yeah, only issue is people might see him as Lex Luthor.
Yeah, that's true, just because they grew up on the cartoons.
Because he's got such a defining voice. But that's my first pick is Clancy Brown. Who was your first pick, sir?
John Origarden from Norseman.
Norseman.
He is an absolute madman. Absolute madman. So he starts off, he's the ruler of a kingdom. This is why I'd put him in here. He was the ruler of a kingdom, and he gets told he has male patterned baldness, and it drives him insane. And he's in Norse times, drives him absolutely insane. He's mental, absolutely mental.
Norseman, is that a TV show? Is it?
Yeah, on Netflix. It's old school, like Norway, Swedes, all that stuff in the Norse times. But it's got today's humour, and they talk about art from Rome, and they're like, oh, you know what they say. And then the people respond back, I know what who say. What are you talking about? And he goes, oh, it's a piece of art. And they're like, they don't know what art is. They're just like, what are you talking about? It's actually quite a good program, actually.
Okay, I'll check it out. So here's your first option. My second option, I'm not going to try and say that name back, because my second option is one that, I'd be lucky to get him, but I think it'd be quite cool. Brad Pitt.
Oh, it would be quite cool, actually.
Yeah, it's the main bad guy.
Oh, we could play that too, based on Troy. He played quite a psycho in that. Yeah. He was just like kind of the puppet in that, but he was Achilles, wasn't he? He was still the big bad man.
I've got him in there. I think he'd be just ruthless as well. What was your second option, sir?
The Green Goblin.
Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe.
Yes.
I heard he's actually possibly returning in a new movie as the Green Goblin.
The rumor is, I watched something on it on YouTube today. The rumor is with the new Spider-Man movie coming out called No Way Home, the reference to No Way Home means to the villains that all the villains that have died in previous Spider-Man films are actually in another dimension. And they try and come back through to our dimension. Maybe it's something to do with the multiverse of madness.
Yeah.
And so the Sinister Six could be a combination of different villains from different dimensions. So you got your Andrew Garfield villains, you've got your Tobey Maguire ones, then Tom Holland.
You've got Venom, you've got Tom Hardy as Venom, you've got, what's his name?
He won't be because he's still part of Sony.
Oh, of course. He won't
so
be
MCU,
either.
You'll get Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin, who's been rumoured. You've got Alfred Molina, who's been confirmed to come back as Dr. Octopus. They have different combinations, but yeah, Green Goblin and Doc Ock are probably going to come back.
Cool, because I love the actor who played Doc Ock.
Yes, Alfred Molina.
Absolutely nailed that role.
Perfect.
Almost like a mad scientist turned just psychotic because these nodes that were just... Oh, I loved that.
And before that role, all he was known as is the guy that tried to screw over Indiana Jones. Literally,
yeah. The first 10 minutes of the film, his mate.
Yeah.
Well, not really his mate, but he screws him over.
Which that's coming out in 4K soon, Indiana Jones. Yeah, so interesting choice. Who we're talking about? I'm trying to think who we're talking about.
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. So I was like, interesting choice. Yeah, no, that's a really good choice. My third option is just one bonkers off the wall. He's obviously done very well for himself recently as a certain character, but he's also done a lot of things that gave him a lot of range that no one really saw when he wasn't favoured. That is Ryan Reynolds. When he wasn't in his, like, obviously after Green Lantern, he did a movie called Buried, where it's just him being buried alive for an hour and a half. He's just in the coffin, buried there. No one else but him playing it. Only thing he has to actually act off is a cell phone that people keep ringing him on, trying to figure out where he is. The ending is amazing. I'm not going to say what it is, but yeah, it's just an hour and a half of Ryan Reynolds buried, and he nails it. It's an amazing film.
Whoa.
It's called, yeah, if you ever want to watch it, called Buried. So he can do dark as well as his Deadpool, obviously. Done well with Deadpool, and he can do bonks off the wall. But if I had Ryan Reynolds for this, I'd have him as a more toned down version.
Almost like in Blade, just kind of just a smart ass.
Maybe a bit of a dick, maybe even less than that. Maybe I'd make him more maniacal.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, 100% actually.
Yeah, so here's my third choice.
My third choice. Have you seen Dexter, the program on? John Lithgow. He plays the Trinity Killer.
Third rock from the sun.
Yeah. What do you mean? I'm not an alien.
Yeah. He's really good. Also, Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Yes, he nails all his roles that he plays in. Yeah.
That's an interesting choice. None of the ones I've gone with I actually would want to go with. The one I want to go with is on your list.
Number 2.
William Dafoe.
Yep.
Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe. Obviously, he was in Platoon, Spider-Man as the Green Goblin, as we talked about before. He's also in The Life Aquatic with Zissou. Like that one as well.
Is too.
But of course, his crowning achievement was in Speed 2 Cruise Control. That's the terrorist in that. His crown jewel.
Oh, Willem Dafoe.
Right, so now that we've cast our movie, let's see who we've got in our confirmed roles, shall we? The actor who's playing Alex Kidd, we've got Michael Cera. Who's playing Saint Nurari? Well, that's Sarah McKellen. King Thunder is going to be played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. And Queen Patricia is going to be played by Meryl Streep. Parplin the Pursuer, otherwise known as Paperhead, is going to be Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Chakina the Sly is going to be Iwan Ryan. Gusika the Slippery will be played by Jesse Plemons. And Jenkin the Great will be played by the great Willem Dafoe. That's not a bad lineup to start our one off with. So, yeah, it's very good. Right, so what we'll do now is we're going to go through our pitches. I'm going to go through my basic outline, or my outline, for the animated movie that's going to be Alex Kidd. Matt's going to go through his TV show of 6 episodes. What we're going to do is we're going to go through them and see if, we can make a good movie or TV show out of this. If you think that we've missed something or there's something better that you reckon you could do, why not email us? You can email us at nobodydoesitbennett@outlook.com. That's Bennett with 2 N's, 2 T's. You can go to Twitter, NobodyDIBennett. That's Twitter, NobodyDIBennett. Or just go on to the Facebook page of Nobody Does It Bennett. Leave a message there and, who knows? We could read it on air.
Awesome.
Let's get into the pitches.
Sir, may I suggest Nobody Does It Bennett?
Right, so for my movie, it's going to be an animated film. It's going to go roughly for an hour and a half to 2 hours. But here I go. Movie starts on the planet Ares, on the peak of Mount Eternal, with Alex Kidd being trained in the ancient art of shellcore, the art of one breaking rocks with their fist, by Saint Nurari, Alex's mentor. His training will be shown in a number of Rocky-type montages. Alex has monkey-like features, big ears, big hands, which help him excel in shellcore. So there's going to be some Rocky moments, just, him training over the years, because it takes him 7 years to learn this. So he will be a little kid. And he's going along, he'll get, he'll have moments where he'll be talking to Nurari, he'll be giving him guidance through the years and watching him grow. And then at a point, Alex will be ready to move on because he's now mastered shellcore. Alex is ready to leave, now a master in shellcore. As Alex is making his way down Mount Eternal, he comes across a dying man who tells Alex that the peaceful city of Redaxian, I'm going to say Redaxian, I don't know how it's pronounced, the city of Redaxian is in grave danger. The dying man tells Alex that a madman called Jenkin the Great has taken over the kingdom. Before taking his last breath, the man gives Alex a piece of map and a medallion made of sunstone. Since the part of the dying man is just a cameo role, I will cast William Shatner to play him. That way it will be more memorable.
I feel like my life is caving in.
That's how it starts. After the man dies, there'll be a narration that starts by Morgan Freeman. What does this all mean? A piece of map? A medallion made of sunstone? The only way for Alex Kidd to find out will be to travel through the Miracle World. And that's when the title will appear, Alex Kidd in Miracle World.
I like that.
Yeah, good start.
Yeah, it was a bloody good start, actually. I got a bit lost in that, actually. And to be fair, just to sitting there staring at the page, I'm like, oh.
As Alex continues on his journey through Miracle World, he fights small flying dragons and finds that he can find jewels and coins in the rocks as he smashes to progress through the world. Then Alex comes across a different kind of rock. It fills him with the feeling of dread. It's the darkest of blacks and is oozing black plasma like fluid. Alex, overconfident, goes to smash the rock. As Alex hits it, the rock breaks open. Black and red smoke emerges from the hole that Alex has created. All of a sudden, a ghost-like creature emerges, long, slender, and horrifying. It sees Alex and starts to move towards him. As the phantom-like spirit walks its way towards Alex, it moves across plants and insects. The plants and insects that come into its path immediately start to decompose into dust. So it brings death with them everywhere it goes.
I like
It's
that.
those ghosts in the game that, you know, you pop the box, the ghost comes up and chases you to your screen.
Yeah.
I've made them like really, really scary and disgusting.
It starts to eat everything around you.
This was a creature that his master Saint Nerari had warned him about. But those were just bedtime stories, right? Weren't they? Tales to scare children? Nerari spoke of reapers. That's what I called reapers. Creatures that are created just to destroy. Alex, realizing he stands no chance against such creatures, runs deeper and deeper into Miracle World, just trying to escape the clutches of the Reaper. Alex runs until he is stopped by an edge of a cliff. Alex has a choice: face the wrath of the Reaper or jump off the cliff. Alex jumps, falling and falling until he crashes into the water below. So this opening, when he falls into the water, we're probably about 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
It just keeps going. Alex continues to swim through the water, going through a maze of stones in this brightly lit underwater world. So it'd be like when you go into the water and swimming, but it'll be all bright lit up like it is.
Yeah, that's cool.
Alex smashes stones and rocks as he goes to get through the water. Alex sees an ink cloud up ahead. Alex hovers in the water, staring at this strange ink cloud in the water. Alex is then grabbed by a giant tentacle that emerges from the ink cloud. Alex struggles in the water, trying to free himself. Alex then punches the tip of the tentacle. To Alex's surprise, the tip of the tentacle broke off. Alex punches the tentacle again and again. A bit more broke off each time he hits. Alex hits the tentacle for a third time, and with this, the tentacle shortened again, and the tentacle releases Alex. As Alex starts to feel the relief of being free, a giant octopus comes through the ink cloud with another 7 tentacles trying to grab Alex. Alex ducks and weaves, punching the tentacles as he goes, until the octopus is no more. Alex then realizes there's something in the cave that the octopus was occupying. It's another piece of the map that the dying man gave Alex. This seems to be leading to a secret way into Redaxian. So I got that. There's a scene in the game where you have to fight an octopus. Yeah. So I've made it a bit darker.
Like a battle, yeah, or like a...
Because I haven't got too many... With this, I haven't got too many of the same things. So in the game, you keep going back into the water quite a few times.
Yeah.
I've made it one scene. So therefore, you don't have to go back.
That's cool, oh, yeah.
Make it memorable. That's why the octopus comes in later on, otherwise. Meanwhile, in the throne room of the castle of Redaxian, Jankin taunts them, then talks to his 3 henchmen, Paplin, Drakina, and Gusika, otherwise known as Paperhead, Scissorhead, and Fisthead. He tells them to go to different parts of Miracle World and to stop anyone who wants to get through to his castle. He says that they are all very well trained in the game of Jinkin, which is paper, scissors, rock. So challenge intruders to a game. If they beat you, they might be worth me destroying them. Alex finally gets out of the water and comes across a shop. Alex goes in and sees a motorbike. He asks the shopkeeper how much for the bike as he dumps all the coins and jewels he found in the rocks on the counter. Shopkeeper says, "That much," pointing to the jewel coin pile. Shopkeeper will be played by Terry Crews.
Perfect, actually. Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, yep. Perfect.
Alex then grabs the motorbike and rides it through a maze of rocks and scorpions, smashing and dodging as he goes. After a while, the motorbike runs out of gas, so Alex just leaves it and carries on. After a while of walking, Alex comes to a bridge. In front of the bridge is a person with a hand for a head. Parlin the Pursuer, or as Alex calls him, Paperhead. Parlin is one of Jenkins' henchmen. Parlin will only let Alex pass if he beats him in a game of Jenkin, otherwise known as Paper, Scissors, Rock. Best 2 out of 3. As the showdown begins, both are dancing the Jenkin. That's when, in the game. Yeah, then they both draw. Alex can feel Parlin invade his mind. Somehow Alex knew that when he drew rock, that Parlin knew that he drew it, and so he drew paper. Parlin smiles, saying how it's impossible for Alex to win as he can invade his mind. 1-0 to Parlin. Round 2. Alex and Parlin are once again dancing the Jenkin. When it comes to time to draw, though, Alex feels the invasion of his mind coming again, uses the mental techniques he uses for Shellcore to block Parlin. This round is now up to chance. Alex picks rock again, but this time Parlin, not seeing what Alex was thinking, assumes he wouldn't pick rock again, and picks scissors. Alex wins the round. 1-1. Time for the final round.
I'm picturing that whole,
I'm treating this almost like a Yu-Gi-Oh battle.
Yeah, that's how I'm kind of seeing it too, like in the middle of a forest, but it's like Michael Cera on one end of the clearing, and then on the other end of the clearings,
And it's drawn out, because in the game you can see sometimes what they're thinking as well as what you're thinking.
Yeah.
So I made it a thing where he can actually see what he's doing, and he has to find out techniques to actually how to beat it. So every time he comes across someone else, he has a different challenge.
I like that.
So round 3. Alex and Parlin are dancing the Jenkin once more. I always say that because it's just the Jenkin. Dancing the Jenkin once more. And once more, when it comes to show, Alex can feel Parlin trying to evade his mind. So Alex, knowing it's coming, this time decides not to block, but counters instead with a mental Shellcore punch. This blasts through Parlin's defences, giving Alex a brief but clear look at what Parlin was going to play. Paper. As Parlin reveals paper, Alex hits him with scissors, winning the game and defeating his foe. Parlin, for some reason, turns into a puff of smoke. All that is left is another piece of the map.
Oh.
Alex then wanders through more of Miracle World. A montage of him looking at the map, trying to figure it out, mixed with a montage of Alex smashing rocks and defeating scorpions and dragons, unfolds. Alex also remembers lessons from Saint Nerari. Montage finishes when Alex learns that he must go to see this man in a hut on a certain part of the map to continue his journey. Alex comes to an old-looking hut. As he enters the darkly lit interior, he is greeted by a voice. "Hello, Alex. It's about time." The man tells Alex that Alex is actually the son of King Thunder and Queen Patricia, the rulers of Redaxian. He was kidnapped as a small boy by somebody evil. The old man explains how he was hidden in the mountains, but this evil did not expect on Saint Nerari finding Alex. Alex then asks the old man who he is. He says he was Alex's minder as a child. And when Alex went missing, he went into exile as he could not forgive himself for what happened to Alex. The old guy found out that Alex was still alive when Saint Nerari wrote to him, telling him that Alex is okay, but he is training him in Shellcore, and not to tell anyone else that he's still alive.
I like that.
I thought it was a good way, because the old man at heart just happens to know the whole story for you in the game. I was like, he has to have more than just, "Hi, this is blah, blah, blah."
100%.
Alex asks why he needed to be kept a secret. Old man says that Nerari knew that Alex would be a great Shellcore master one day, but his life would be in danger until he was fully trained. The old guy then tells Alex of his parents and his brother, Eagle. It's Eagle, E-G-L-E. I think it's Eagle or Eagle.
Yeah, Eagle.
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 And his brother, Eagle. He also tells Alex about Jenkin and his henchmen, and how the secret of the Sunstone will be revealed when Alex needs it most.
That's cool.
The old man will be voiced by Sean Bean.
"You must give me the ring."
You'll take the Sunstone, you'll use it against us,
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Just give it to me. Yeah.
This is his redemption for, how he's always, not always a bad guy, but this is, I thought Sean Bean would be great, just giving him knowledge, and he'd have such a folksy voice that you just want to listen to every word he says.
100%, yeah.
After Alex visits the old man, he visits the shop again. He drops an even bigger pile of jewels than last time, and asks the shopkeeper if he has anything that will help him get over the hills and water. Shopkeeper leads Alex to the back, where he keeps the extra good stuff. You see Alex's face light up with wonder, but you don't actually see what it is he's looking at. Cut to the next shot where you're looking at the sky above. Moments later, Alex will zoom in, piloting a gyrocopter.
That's cool. I like that. That's perfect transition too.
Like, you just see his face light up, but you won't see it. There will be a set-piece scene where Alex will need to shoot down flying bats and dragons while also shooting rocks in his path. Alex will eventually be forced to land by a nearby cave. Alex ventures through the cave, finding more bats, but also more of the same type of rocks the Reaper-type creatures came from before. So this cave has a lot of those rocks. As Alex ventures through, he sees a shadowy-looking figure further in the cave. The head of this figure looks like the universal peace symbol from afar. So Alex calls out on him in a friendly manner. The shadowy figure tells Alex to wait right there, as it's too dangerous to continue. Alex waits for a moment, then sees the shadowy finger use a ring-type item to blast the roof of the cave. You know the ring you can get? You can shoot?
Oh, true, yeah.
So I used the ring for that part.
I like that. Yeah. Blast the roof through the cave.
Shoots the roof of the cave. All of a sudden, spikes from the roof start falling down. As the cave starts to collapse, Alex now realizes that the shadowy figure was no friend, but instead a foe, and he starts to run. Alex looks behind to see that the cave spikes have cracked open several rocks, revealing the Reapers crawling out, and starts to chase Alex. As Alex dodges and smashes cave rocks to escape, he notices that he's coming to a bit in the cave that has almost completely collapsed. He sprints and drives, managing to just get through before the exit is sealed. This will trap the Reapers inside the cave. So again, I like to have the Reapers because in the game that you can't kill them.
No, yeah.
So
you might as well trap them because
so I've got to find ways where he can get away. Because if he just goes off screen and comes back and they're not there anymore, that's stupid for a movie.
Yeah, 100%.
So far, it's probably about halfway through the film. How do you reckon so far?
Oh, I'm loving it.
You like it so far? Cool. So Alex continues a little further on, where again he sees that shadowy figure, but this time the shadowy figure is in full light. Or her name, depending on who we cast, is Chikina the Sly Scissorhead. I think who would be cast as Scissorhead? Iwan Rheon. So yes, it would be perfect for that because again in Game of Thrones as well, he pretends to be a friend at first.
Yeah, he does.
And then there's a foe, and this actually works perfectly.
Greyjoy.
Yeah, so this works perfectly for that. Alex and Chikina have a drinking battle. In round 1, Alex realizes he can't see what Scissorhead is thinking, but Chikina can, as he puts all his effort into counter-attacking in his mind and didn't realize Chikina was stronger than Palin, inadvertently letting Scissorhead see his thoughts. So in the first one, you could actually just counterattack, but Scissorhead's more agile, and his mind can actually bypass the thing. So only thing that Alex can do is actually defend. He can't actually fight him.
Yeah.
This is what he realizes. Alex picks paper, and Chikina, knowing what Alex picks, selects scissors. Round 1 goes to Chikina. Round 2, how was Alex going to win? Alex and Scissorhead start dancing once again. This time Alex puts all his powers into blocking in his mind. Chikina can't see Alex's thoughts. As Alex is blocking, he starts to slightly mutter paper under his breath. Chikina sees this and thinks Alex is going to go paper again. As they reveal, Chikina goes to scissors to beat Alex's paper, but Alex has instead selected rock. As the shot goes up from the reveal of the rock, you can see Alex's grin. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Round 3. Alex and Scissorhead start to dance again. Alex fully defends his mind, and again under his breath, he mutters, paper. Chikina sees this, but won't be fooled twice. As they reveal, Chikina selects rock, while Alex selects paper. The old double fake.
I like that.
Chikina looks shocked before turning into smoke. Alex picks up the piece of map that Scissor left behind. Alex leaves the cave and finds a speedboat not far from the cave. There's a little scene where you're in a speedboat as well. So I was like, oh, wait,
Oh,
that's
yeah, true. That's a great idea.
There's a bit in the gyrocopters where lightning's trying to hit you as well. So I've actually mixed it in with the speedboat bit here. Alex drives the jet boat along the water. Not long after he starts, the weather takes a turn. Alex is forced to steer the boat through a lightning storm. So imagine this in CGI. A lightning storm coming down.
That would look awesome.
Oh, 4K would look amazing.
And he's in a boat and it's just going on the water.
Alex dodges between lightning strikes, crashing over giant waves as he does. Alex eventually gets through the storm and ventures along a stone path. Alex enters an area that seems to be made entirely of stone, the kingdom of Nabana. Alex continues along and comes across a castle. This is in fact Jenkins' fortress.
Oh, yeah, true. That's cool. I like that.
Alex enters the castle. As he enters through, he avoids several booby traps made of spikes and traps made of fire. Alex finds his brother, Prince Eagle, inside, trapped. Alex frees him and tells him who he is. Eagle tells Alex that he must find the Moonstone and save Redaxian from Jangan the Great. Eagle lets Alex know where the map is hiding in the castle that will help him locate the Moonstone. Alex finds this location and takes the map and heads towards the exit of the castle, where he meets Gusika the Sly, otherwise known as Fisthead, the third and final of Jenkins' henchmen. Time to play Jenkin once more. Now in the game, you actually face off against these henchmen more than once, but in this, I'm only going to make them onces.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Round 1. Alex goes to fully defend his mine, but Gusika is too strong and breaks right through Alex's defenses, enabling him to see what he's going to pick. Rock. As Alex picks rock, Gusika selects paper. Round 1 to Gusika. So again, different character has a different power.
Yeah.
And he has to figure out another way to beat them, because the old ways won't work. Round 2. Alex has to think of a new strategy. So Alex puts half his power into blocking Gusika's mind from breaching his. This will help Alex deceive Fisthead. The other half will be invested into Alex thinking paper when he really choose rock. It works. Gusika picks scissors thinking Alex will pick paper. But instead Alex picks rock. Gusika looks bewildered by this. So he uses his mind power in different ways.
Yeah, I like that.
But you also got to put up a defense, or otherwise you'll know that something's not right if you don't defend. Round 3. Alex, knowing that Gusika will come back harder at him this time, puts only a quarter of his power into the Trojan horse defense, so that he can put 3/4 of his mind power into deceiving Gusika. Again, Alex thinks rock, but goes scissors. Gusika selects paper and is astonished when he sees Alex pick. Gusika doesn't turn to smoke though. Instead, he is enraged and says to Alex, "Take this." Gusika's fist head detaches from his body and charges at Alex.
Oh, that's right.
So their heads can come off. And tells Alex. Alex just smiles, and power Shao punches Gusika's head right back at his own body, causing Gusika to turn to smoke. So it's like an enraged Dragon Ball Z. Ah! Bam, bam. Alex gets the final piece of the map. Alex now knows the secret way into Redaxian, but he first must find the Moonstone. So yeah, we're getting towards the end now. We've got about another 20 minutes, half an hour left of the film. Alex returns to the kingdom of Nabana and locates where the Moonstone is on the map. In the game, it's actually in a kingdom, and the guy goes, "Oh, you got to find my Moonstone. Rah, rah, rah. Here's the tablet. Rah, rah, rah." I didn't do that though. Alex comes to a great statue that is made from thick stone,
Oh, cool.
almost impenetrable. The stone is surrounded by some dark stones that Alex has seen before. Reaper rocks surround the statue. Alex calmly clears his mind and goes into a deep trance. As he does, his hands start to glow brighter and brighter as he continues. Then Alex snaps out and sends a fury of lefts and rights at the statue. The statue breaks to reveal a chest inside. Alex opens it up to reveal a walking stick cane and the Moonstone. Alex grabs them and turns to see that the shock of the statue breaking has caused all the Reaper stones to break. Alex is surrounded with the Reapers closing in. All could be lost.
I like that. That's cool, because that would be an intense scene too. It would almost be like Dementors when Harry's lying there on his back, and I like that.
Alex then remembers something that his mentor, Saint Nurari, once told him in a fable he was telling. When the moon appears, it locks pursuers still, as if they were stone. Alex then grabs the Moonstone out and shines it into the sky. When he does, there is a brilliant flash. A moment later, Alex looks around. and sees that the Reapers have all been turned into stone. Alex then grabs the cane and thinks to himself, I wish you were a gyrocopter so I could fly right out of here. All of a sudden, Alex feels himself being lifted off the ground. He then realizes the cane can be used to fly by using his mind. Alex flies off and makes his way to the secret way into Redaxian. Because the canes in the game, like, are psychic things that make you float.
Yeah.
So I used the...
I like that.
I put the cane in there so then you just grab it and not realize what it is until it's too late.
Yeah.
Because if he knew what it was straight away, then he'd just fly away from the Reapers. But this way, he doesn't know, so he has to fight them. Alex ventures through the castle, fighting dragons and bats along the way. He then comes to the throne room where Jenkin the Great is. He has King Thunder and Queen Patricia chained up. Alex tells them all who he is. Jenkin then says if Alex can beat him in a game of Jenkin, he will release his parents and leave Redaxian. Jenkin has never lost a single round of Jenkin. Ever.
Jenkin playing Jenkin. I mean, it's in the name.
In this game, he has the Moonstone in the video game, and then he can turn people to stone. I was like, it'd be cooler if it was a relic that Alex found and used it himself. Because otherwise, why wouldn't he just turn him to stone when he first saw him in the game?
It'd be like God of War when you get Medusa's head.
Then you can use it. And this also plays into my final battle thing here too. Round 1, Jenkin uses a device on his helmet. Alex then realizes this device forces Alex's hands to do whatever Jenkin decides.
Ooh.
He cheats, hence he never loses. Alex wants to pick scissors, but his hand won't open up. He plays rock, while Jenkin plays paper. Alex knew he was going to play paper because the device Jenkin uses takes all his concentration to control. So Alex could read his mind, but couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Jenkin laughs. You cannot defeat me, royal outcast. Round 2. Just before they start, Alex remembers another part of that fable Saint Nerari told him, conveniently, as if Nerari was talking to him through his mind. So I made it, here's a connection that he can actually talk to him.
That's cool. I like that.
Almost Jedi. When the sun shines, it blocks the mind. That's the fable. Alex then remembers he has the Sunstone. When round 2 begins, Alex feels Jenkin trying to control his hands again. Alex uses all his power to reach into his pocket and reveal the Sunstone. The stone glows and Jenkin can no longer control Alex's hands. But Alex can still see into Jenkin's mind. Rock. Jenkin selects rock, while Alex, now free from Jenkin's grasp, selects paper. Round 2 is won by Alex. We are now tied at 1 apiece. Round 3. Jenkin tries to control Alex's hands, but this time Alex is ready and combines his Sunstone with a mind counterattack. This reverses the control beam, giving Alex the control of Jenkin's hands. Alex picks scissors while he forces Jenkins to play paper. Alex wins. Enraged by Alex's tactics, Jenkin refuses to the terms of the contest and starts shooting beams at Alex. He blocks the beams with a Sunstone, but is struggling to contain them. Again, Alex remembers part of the fable that Saint Nerari told him. The moon and the sun are a powerful single entity, but combined create a formidable force. Alex, still struggling to block the beam, reaches into his pocket and grabs the Moonstone. He slowly joins the moon and sunstone together. Once joined, this causes Jenkin's beam to turn into stone, and the effect follows the beam to its original source, Jenkin.
I like that.
Jenkin has been turned to stone.
Goodbye.
Alex frees his parents and he is welcomed into the family. They ask if he wants to be known as Prince Alex, but Alex refuses. His ability in Shellcore means he will travel to other worlds, freeing the innocent from tyrants. He will devote his life to saving worlds. Bracketed sequel bait. End of pitch. End of pitch.
There's a movie right there.
Yeah. I think I went nuts.
You absolutely nailed that, though. There's nothing to fault in that.
Well, there's probably little ways, but I wanted to come up with a complete story. So
but as a complete story, yeah, that's absolutely perfect.
It gives the Reapers the respect they need, but without actually cheating too much, because he just didn't have the powers to destroy them at first. And it explains why the Moonstone would be surrounded by Reapers.
Yeah, it would be too, yeah. Because they're protecting it in a way. Oh, I like that.
Be a mixture of dark and light.
Nailed it.
Nobody does it, Bennett.
Right, so that's my pitch for Alex Kidd: A Miracle World. A little bit more detailed than probably needed to be, but I had fun with it and went with it. So now, Matt, let's hear your pitch for a TV show. So that's 6 episodes?
It is 6 episodes with a pilot episode, so technically 7, but...
Yeah, I'd say 7 episodes, if it gets picked up.
Yeah, that's true, which it will. Disney, no. Right, pilot episode starts off in a galaxy as the camera pans past planets. Its main point of frame becomes clearer, the planet Ares, zooming in on top of a mountain, panning on 2 figures fighting down below on top Mount Eternal. The frame freezes, cuts to Alex Kidd, played none other than Michael Cera, in summer in a beautiful stone garden, sparring against his master, Saint Nurari, in the ancient martial art form of Shellcore. His reflexes abilities being enhanced tenfold by having monkey-like features from his ancient bloodline. King Thunder, his father, and Queen Patricia, his mother, which accompany him with his Shellcore. It's a fast-paced scene, but with each passing the background has changed. It's now winter. Summer, spring, autumn, winter, spring, summer, autumn, over and over. Both Master and Alex show signs of aging. Alex's hands now punching straight through stone, cracking them in half. His training is now complete. 7 years to the day, he is a master in himself and Shellcore. Episode 1.
So the whole first episode's just going to be him training?
Basically, yeah.
Nice. I like that, because it means you get to concentrate on Rurari a lot as well. Like my one, you kind of in the movie, you kind of blow over him a lot, so that's kind of cool.
Too. Yeah, it kind of zooms in on them and shows them together. He never really says anything, though. It's just kind of like a... Episode 1. Alex has gathered all he needs and has said goodbye to the ones he loves. King Thunder tells him of the great he will do. But suddenly, change is about to come. The clouds grow dark and a vortex appears through the clouds. Jankin the Great. He swoops down and imprisons both King Thunder and Queen Patricia in ropes of energy, looks over at Alex as almost to brush him off as nothing, and disappears back through the vortex. What's just happened? Alex says to himself. He knows he didn't spend all that time training just to stand there and let this happen. So he wanders down Mount Eternal and sees an animal slumped over in the dirt. He walks closer and the frame freezes, capturing a body, bloody beaten, a hand reaching out to him. It's an old man who grabs Alex by the top and pulls him to his ear, whispering about the fears of their city, of Redaxian being in peril. A great deceiver, a horrible being called Jankin the Great, played by Willem Dafoe, appears as a silhouette on screen, death and destruction in his shining red eyes. I could picture him as Green Goblin at this point, showing no mercy, with a smirk smeared across his face, thinking of the things to come. The old man tells of him taking over the kingdom, before being still, never to move again. A piece of the map tucked under his breast, Alex reaches for. The scene cuts to Alex walking to a nearby store with his last $100 to his name. His eyes snap to a bike on the wall. And before he can even get the money from his pocket, a sign saying "Sold" silhouette runs across the screen, implying that he has bought the bike. Alex has his own bike. He leaves the shop and finds some menacing, weak creatures who oppose no threat, but he sweeps them down with vengeance nonetheless, thinking of Jankin each time. A bad guy appears, with the head of a fist. Fist head? Played by Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad. He tells Alex he has to fight him in order to get past him. But to do that is no easy feat. Alex takes a deep breath, exhales, and the scene explodes into a fight scene, music playing in the background offering us a feel of excitement. The fist head throws his finger at Alex and laughs maniacally. It's Jankin time. Instead of rock, paper, scissors though in this instance, it's more of a battle of wits. Alex and Fisthead battle it out over 3 intense rounds of Jankin. The end, Fisthead turning into dust, disappearing. Alex has bested his foe. Alex doesn't realise, though, through his fight, he's lost his bike. The scene ends with Alex clenching his fist as the cam pans out.
So in episode 1, is it? Yeah. So you're going with Fisthead first?
Yeah, Fisthead. I thought I might as well change the whole thing up.
Oh, interesting.
So I was listening to your one, I was just like, I like that. It's all different. Let's do that instead of following the exact episode 2. Alex now has to use his swimming abilities to get through a maze of octopi, seahorses, all the while swimming through, holding his breath, stuck in a labyrinth. He gets back onto dry land, speeds through obstacles like a master, and finds an old man in a house who's offered to help him get across the water. Alex accepts the old man's help and is gifted a gyrocopter. He sets off, but quickly the engine gives out because he doesn't know how to fly, and Alex is back in the water, swimming for his life. He fights towards the end, and back on top to dry land, where he now has to fight flame monsters and small-looking Mario characters. He finally manages to make his way across to another house where he is greeted by a very, very angry dog/cow. Alex has had enough of the bad guys, so he makes quick work of the dog. An old man appears, telling Alex of a special cave in which he can travel through, as well as a blue magic stone he can attach to his mind and shoot bolts of energy from. The scene ends with Alex gripping the stone. It cuts back abruptly and starts in battle behind the shadow of a Scissorhead, Iwan Rayon, smiling sinisterly at Alex from behind a stack of rocks, eyes twitching as he gets closer with each step. "It's Jenkin time," he whispers to himself. Scissorhead can be heard in Alex's mind, taunting him with each thought. Alex tries to muster for himself. Alex knows what he has to do. He channels all his energy into the blue stone, creating a mind shield around himself, blocking Scissorhead's thoughts from poisoning his mind and in turn confusing Scissorhead. To get all three of the battle wrong, Alex plays paper as his last, knowing Scissorhead will play rock, thus turning him to stones. Episode 3. Alex sees something sticking out from behind a bush as he carries on towards Jenkin the Great. It's his bike! But how could it have gotten here? Alex doesn't worry about it, but wipes the dirt off his bike, smiling from ear to ear, and away he rides through a forest filled with booby traps, monkeys, monsters, and the bike does well to get this far. Upon arrival of a giant, shining lapis lazuli wall, a bear dressed as a pirate appears with a machete. This is his territory. He doesn't take kindly to the sound of a bike in his forest, so he takes to Alex with a sharpened blade of a machete, trying to cut and slice at him. Alex arrives full speed on his bike at the bear, jumps off the bike, and it slams straight into the bear, turning both the bear and his bike into dust. He did what he had to do. Alex finds a small river with a wee shack leading up to a dry dock and a boat. He thinks asking the owner would be his best bet of getting to the Isle of Parplin the Pursuer. He knocks on the door with eyes filled with hope. The door opens, and an old man looks up to Alex, up and down, squinting through his huge eyeglasses. "You need some help, I gather then, yes?" the old man asks Alex. Alex tells the old man of his story while a montage of silhouettes in the background while he explains what he's doing. The old man agrees and hands Alex his keys, leads him through to his boathouse, to the ramp below. The old man tells of lightning in these parts and to be careful. The thought seems to sting in Alex's mind as he drives off towards Jenkin the Great. Episode 4. Alex arrives at a stone quarry, maybe from ancient times. It's hard to tell these days, so it must be old. He can hear yelling and rocks dropping from above on the ledge. So he climbs up, unknowingly, that Parplin the Pursuer would be waiting on the other side. As soon as he sees him, Alex's mind clouds with thoughts of judgment. Paper, rock, scissors, scissors, paper, rock. Everything flies through his mind and confusion fills the air. Alex thinks this is a weak man's game to confuse someone without fair fight. So he goes with his gut, playing scissors and beating Parplin's paper. The visible confusion on Parplin's face disappears like him to dust.
Wow. That's the end of episode 4?
Yep.
After 4, so there's 2 more to go, isn't there?
Yep.
So it's all about Jenkin.
Yep. Alex arrives at a castle, knowing what terrors might reside inside. He lights his blue stone as a light and attaches it to the belt he made himself. He leads himself through the obstacles. Jenkin the Great appears, taunting Alex for the mistakes he has made on his henchmen. Alex tells Jenkin he is done for what he has done to others, and that the only way past is through. A giant battle ensues, with each character attacking each other's mind, Alex deflecting the thoughts back to Jenkin, making him angrier and angrier with each passing moment. Jenkin thought this would be easy, but the training shows on Alex's part. A montage starts back and forth between the characters, Jenkin throwing stones out of rage and Alex smashing them with his fists. Time and time again, Jenkin grows weaker, while Alex becomes more and more determined to beat his foe, both trying their hardest to beat one another. The scene fades out to both of them pummeling each other with hails of rocks and volleys of stones.
Oh, and that's the end of
episode 5.
The fight continues. Ooh.
Both Alex and Jenkin are on the ground. Both look defeated, until you see Alex's hand grip a fist as he climbs to his feet. He walks over, breathing heavily, standing over Jenkin, not moving at the slightest. Alex knows what he must do next. He walks over, grabs a set of keys from Jenkin's beaten body, stumbles down the dungeon and releases his parents upon everyone else. The rest of the movie is them rebuilding back to the foundations that they had before, and although Alex isn't the kind of boy who wants to be king, He spends most of his time helping those who need it more than most up in his temple above Mount Eternal, in which he is now the master of. The camera pans out again above the mountain like it did on the very first scene where Alex was, but now older and training somebody else. Who knows? Maybe Jenkin had a son too.
Ooh, I like that. At the end too, kind of a Lion King kind of moment.
Yeah.
The son becomes the dad.
A little bit. Yeah. And then now they're fighting.
That's cool. I like that because it's so action-packed. One thing after the other, after the other, after the other. And you mix things around, which is cool as well.
I kind of thought of it as a Dragon Ball Z fight 5 episodes, where they kind of take those 5 episodes to literally charge up to a fight, and then it's 5 episodes of complete intense combat, and then it's...
Feels like an anime in that way.
Yeah, it almost would have to play it like that.
It has the one goal from the start, but has so much action in between it and over the top. I can imagine those fights will be over the top kind of anime
100%,
style.
yeah, that's how I thought of it, because that's exactly what I was thinking about when you were saying yours. I was going,
Well, that's what about the show is we get the video game, but doesn't mean we can't have fun and be creative in areas. I like to use the ball as well, that ball that's in the game we keep punching. Yeah. That wee ball. Yeah, no, that was really good. So hopefully the listeners who are listening to this podcast will give us their opinion on which ones they'd like more or which ones they'd prefer to see. I'd see both if I could. I think both pictures. I'm not going to toot our own horns, but both pictures are pretty fun.
alternate realities, guys.
Yeah. Alex Kidd the movie or Alex Kidd the TV show? Which one would you pick? So now that you've heard both pitches, why not write into us or email into us? If you would like to write into the show, who knows, we might read it on air. You can go to Nobody Does It Bennett's Facebook page. That's Nobody Does It Bennett with 2 N's and 2 T's. Or you can hit us up on the Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. That's Twitter at NobodyDIBennett. And you can also email us at NobodyDoesItBennett@outlook.com. That's NobodyDoesItBennett. That's 2 N's and 2 T's at outlook.com. I don't know about you, Matt, but I'm pretty keen to see both these versions come to life.
No, definitely. Yep.
It's almost a miracle that we got here.
Yeah, it is a miracle world.
I'm just kidding. Right, so thanks, Matt, for being here tonight for Alex the Kid's video game movie pitch. It has been fun.
No problem at all.
And thank you for tuning in. Remember, some others may do it better, but nobody does it, Bennett. Until next time, take care.
It's the end of the show, and now it's time to go. Don't be sad, just be glad that nobody does it better.